Bo has some, and I've used the term backyard magic. Like we've all played football as kids in the backyard, and you get your boys together and you hang out and have a
little pick them up, mess them up.
Pick up, you know what? Go down and go over here and hide behind the bush and then come out. And so Bo has a little bit of that, and we've seen it surface a number of times in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And here we are back with another episode of Broncos X's and O's, and it's a Victory Monday. Dave,
what's up, baby?
600 games you have called. I would just like to say congratulations on calling 600 games, and shout out to KOA and all that you guys do there. Tell us, how does it feel to call 600 Bronco games?
You know what? When Sean Payton presented me he walked out, because I go out on Fridays and tape his pregame show and tape Bo Nix's pregame show. So he does his media press conference post-practice, and he usually just comes right over, but he walked inside. I'm thinking, where is this dude going? Right? I gotta get going. So he walked out, had the ball, and I honestly didn't realize, because the Alan Jackson, the producer of Broncos football, KOA, had kind of behind the scenes started this thing and let people know. I honestly did not even realize it was 600. But, man, it was cool. I hadn't had a game ball since playing in the league with the Browns. So
what was your last game ball?
Oh, gosh. I'm not even sure I would remember. Had a big game against the Steelers. I think had 9 catches, but I don't even remember if that was the game ball. But you got game balls at home somewhere. So, you get a few years removed from that. You don't remember exactly what game it was, but it was really nice of the organization. Really nice to be recognized like that, and good to go.
Well, man, congratulations.
Appreciate you.
And 600 games called, and the last 6 have been Broncos wins.
Yes.
So let's jump right into it. Broncos win 18-15. It was a defensive fight, which we expected, and we talked about that last week, that this was going to be an ugly game. It was going to be a battle of the defenses.
Yep.
What did you see out there? Just high-level thoughts as we dive into the more minutia things on the offense and defense, but just high level, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think and you and I have talked about it on this show. I think from an offensive standpoint, I think Bo has some, and I've used the term backyard magic. Like we've all played football as kids in the backyard, and you get your boys together and you hang out and have a
pick them up, mess them up.
Pick up, you know what? Go down and go over here and hide behind the bush and then come out. And so Bo has a little bit of that, and we've seen it surface a number of times in the fourth quarter of games. And so we had talked about this game. Houston really good on defense, loud environment, and it was tough sledding for the Broncos offense. I didn't think Bo in the first part of the game looked to be real settled. Mm-hmm. But I think if you look at what the Broncos defense was able to do, and it's something they've done the entire year, right? I mean, their red zone and their goal-to-goal defense have been elite. Elite. So just because the team gets the ball inside the 20-yard line, which is the red zone for the NFL, or have a goal-to-goal inside the 10 or at the 10 with a full series of downs, it does not mean that team's going to be able to knock it in the end zone. And the Broncos defense has been as good as we've seen in the league this year at keeping teams out.
Broncos are 7-2. You can win a championship with this defense right here. If you do not allow the other team to score touchdowns, you can win. This is now, I think, they have taken that next step to where you can win a Super Bowl this year with this type of defense and defensive performance.
Yep.
To the first time that Houston got into the red zone and then inside the 5, to be able to stop them, and then Greenlaw really makes his presence felt.
That's big, strong dude.
Hey,
I mean,
he looks like a football player.
The hits are just different with Dre. To illustrate my point, I mean, teams this year, the Broncos are 7-2. In those 9 games, teams have had 71 snaps of offense in the Broncos' red zone. They're averaging 1.7 yards per snap. I mean, that's – I don't even know what the category past good is, but that's really good. I mean, it's just uncommon. It's uncommon to be able to stop teams in that regard. The Broncos offense, I mean, they're averaging like 4.2 or 4.3 per snap, but opponents in the red zone of the Broncos in 71 snaps averaging 1.7 yards per snap.
And they did that without Patrick Surtain. And I think that's also – I think they took the crown. Obviously, Houston statistically might be the best defense, but I would say the Broncos now have taken that crown from the Texans as the best defense in the league. To put on that type of performance without the Defensive Player of the Year, that speaks volumes into what this team and the depth of this defense actually has.
Yeah, and I mentioned snaps, 1.7 yards per snap. In red zone third down opportunities, opponents are 3 of 16. So that's 19%. So you're playing good defense on first down, obviously. You're playing good defense on second and third down. And that's the key. I mean, you're going to give up some yards. Every team gives up yardage in the league, but you buckle down when it matters most and when a team gets to the red zone. And that, as you said, I think that's going to not only keep them in a lot of games, that's going to help them win a lot of games.
I'm going to put you on the spot right here because this is something I'm just thinking about as we're talking through the defensive performance and what they have been able to put on tape the first 9 weeks of the season. Where does this rank in terms of Broncos defenses that you have covered and that you have seen? Obviously, the no-fly zone in 2015 is up there. I believe 2016, the following year, they also statistically were really good. Just ballpark, where does this 2025 Denver Broncos defense rank in terms of what you've seen?
Boy, I mean, the 2015 defense – we probably, and again, calling every single game, but I think fans probably didn't have a full appreciation until after the season was done.
Yeah.
Until after they saw what that defense did to Tom Brady and the Patriots when they came to town. And so it's hard after 9 games of a regular season to compare this year's edition of the Broncos defense to that defense, which ultimately we knew led that team to the Super Bowl, and then, they just created havoc for the Carolina Panthers. So, but I will say this, I think this is a really good defense. I think they're good on all 3 levels, and that's where, to me, that's what you have to have to judge a defense. I hate the fact that Surtain is down, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be down. That's a huge loss. They were able to overcome it yesterday in Houston, but I don't think anybody should minimize, what that means to this defense. The one area, if I had to say one area that I think they can improve on in defense here this year is giving up chunk plays. Mm-hmm. They've given up too many plays of like 40 yards or longer. In fact, they're one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in that area. Now that's nitpicking a little bit by me. If any of the players or coaches happen to watch this podcast, they're going to be like, "Okay, really? Seriously?" And I'm admitting that that's nitpicking, but I think they've got to find a way to minimize. It's one thing to say, like a gash play, which to me is like a 20-yard play, mm-hmm. but a 40-yard play is a field flopping sort of play. And I think if you were nitpicking, you'd say, yeah, maybe too many of those this year.
Yeah, that's something that you want to minimize. I think about the blitz Hufanga went on and Schultz was able to hit a big play, or Stroud was able to hit Schultz on that seam or like little basic route, and you want to minimize those things. I would say if there's one thing that I would love for this defense to do is take the ball away. You guys take the ball away, whether it's fumbles or forced fumbles, interceptions. How do we take the ball away? Hufanga had the opportunity to pick off
times,
Mills.
right?
Yeah, he had a couple of opportunities to pick the ball off. I think that's the next step over these next 8 weeks, 8 games that you want to see this defense to take it to where, hey, the offense might play like this the rest of the year. So if we can get some pick sixes or things like that, RK was actually talking to us about this. We beat the Raiders in that 2015 season 16-10 with 3 field goals and an interception return for a touchdown. Chris Harris.
Yeah, I remember the play.
How does the defense start to do that now and get the ball and score? So those are the things. I want to double click on Hufanga though. Playing at an all-pro level.
I agree.
He's got 1 Pro Bowl on his career so far. I think he's making sure that he is getting ready to go to his 2nd Pro Bowl. He'll probably miss that because we want the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl. But I also think he's playing at an all-pro level. Tell me what you're seeing from Hufanga and just the way that he's played.
You know what? I love his versatility. And when he comes down, he is an excellent tackler. He's not a guy that you see some safeties that play that when they make a tackle, you're trying to get the guy on the ground for sure, but you almost let the guy run by you and they grab the guy. Hufanga is coming down with force and is a physical presence. He's also really good, I think, at disguising coverages.
Yep.
Right? He'll line up almost on the line of scrimmage, and that quarterback will look over and see him there, and then at the snap, he's trying to get to the deep middle. Now, a guy that used to do that and maybe was the best. There's 2 guys that come to mind that really were so good in this generation of players. One was Troy Polamalu,
yep,
the safety from Pittsburgh. The other one was Ed Reed. Mm-hmm. Ed Reed, and talking to a number of coaches and quarterbacks that had to deal with Ed Reed, it was just amazing, A, the ground he could cover, and B, where he would be at the snap of the ball, and you'd think, okay, he's here. Quarterbacks and receivers really, when you're at the line of scrimmage and you're trying to identify, you've got a route called, trying to identify what might take place, you don't really worry about the corner too much. You're worrying about those safeties. Safeties don't lie to you. The corners lie all the time. But safeties will tell you, certainly in a pre-snap read and then the post-snap read, which quarterback and receivers get all the time. As soon as the ball snapped, we're looking at those safeties. And then when that ball snapped, they have to get to where they're going. So you have to be able to, as you're coming off in your release point, look inside and see like, okay, he's there. I know they can't be in this coverage or this coverage. So how does it adjust my route? But I think, back to your original point, I think Hufanga is really, really good at that as well.
He's playing at an elite level. Watching the game yesterday, this is the first time I feel like I saw the defense send a message for people who are coming across the middle. If you are now running routes across the middle, whether it's an over route, whether it's a basic, a deep dig, you could just see the physicality the entire game. Dre Greenlaw setting the tone, Hufanga setting the tone, and then the Brandon Jones hit on Nico Collins. Nico Collins makes an incredible catch over the middle. But now, when you think about the no-fly zone or the Legion of Boom, or you're thinking about these incredible secondaries, as a receiver, you said, you have to be alert coming across the middle and trying to catch the ball across the middle. These guys are sending a message now. And when you watch film now as a receiver, you have to be on alert.
Guaranteed. You know this to be true. The opponents, every opponent gets every single game. And you're looking, if you're a wide receiver, you're looking at the secondary coverages of the upcoming opponents. When teams look at the Broncos, the hit you're talking about on Nico Collins, it was a penalty on Brandon Jones, but as you said, it will be talked about by every receiving corps coming into Denver or playing the Broncos wherever they play, right? You did it, I did it back in the day. You'd look at guys, and as a wide receiver, there are certain players in the league. If you make your living in the middle of the field, you got to go get the ball, right? You can't get scared out of any sort of route, but there are safeties that when you play them, I was all, way back in the day. He was older than I was, but Jack Tatum, we played the Raiders only a handful of times, but I knew I knew that when you played them, you had to be aware of where number 32 was, because he would knock the taste right out of your mouth. And, you still had to go in there and you had to catch the ball, but you just wanted to be aware of where he was.
100%. Eric Berry was like that for the Kansas City Chiefs. We played Kansas City on a Thursday night. I'll never forget this. We ran a play called Dancer, and for those who are out there watching, Dave knows this. It's just 4 verticals, and I'm in the slot, and I run the seam route, and Brock throws this ball, and Eric Berry comes and hits me right in the chest, and you start seeing stars. Mm-hmm. And that's now what other offenses are now starting to have to see with Hufanga and Brandon Jones and even Chris Abrams' drain. Even though the hit that he put on C.J. Stroud was legal, and hey, we hope that C.J. Stroud, is healthy and plays next week. But when your corners are starting to come up and send a message, that is a culture thing. That's a defensive mentality. That's what we saw Akeem do. That's what we saw Chris Harris, Bradley Rope. They were willing tacklers.
Yep. The hit that Chris Abrams' drain had on C.J. Stroud, I mean, keep it 100 here. If that was Bo Nix, I would hate that hit. I'd be sitting here talking about that hit. But to your point, I looking back on it, I think it was a legal hit. And I think quarterbacks have to be more intentional with, listen, when you break the pocket and you're going to run, you got to decide if you're going to get down, and if you're going to get down a step earlier, so that these guys will pull up. But too often, and I think of, Patrick Mahomes over the years has been an expert at a running, and then he would even act like he's heading to the sideline, and then he'd dip back in. It's like, wait a minute, bro. What, are we supposed to hit you, or we're not supposed to hit you? So I hated that the CJ got knocked out of the game, but it was a hit that he took right in the chest, and I think quarterbacks can alleviate that by just getting down. Make it definitive in terms of what your intentions are when you run.
Yeah, 100%. You better make it clear, because this Broncos defense is not letting up. That is a tone setter. And hey, I love the Broncos defense playing physical. Let's jump into the offense.
Yep.
Where do we start?
I don't know.
Where do we start?
I don't know.
You know what? I think just looking at the All-22, and you've watched the All-22, a lot of people talk about they call it Bo overthrows now. I actually thought that Bo played a pretty decent game. I thought there were opportunities that he missed. I thought there were opportunities where the receivers didn't make the play.
Yeah.
And I also thought there were opportunities where I would say this would be more on the coaching, is what is the pressure plan? I think there were opportunities where they brought a blitz and nobody knew who the hot was, or Bo didn't see the hot. So how are those things getting coached up? But where should we start?
Well, I mean, I think everything you said is true. There are so many things that go into having a successful offense. And I know that fans will look at coaching, head coaching, and quarterback play more than anybody else. I thought Bo yesterday, was a little unsettled. I thought he, in the pocket at times, his feet, it's hard to quantify, but just sitting there calling that game, I'm like, man, oh man, he's made that throw before, or he's made that throw before. I liked what he did late in the game when the score was tied and they pressured him. He didn't get out too soon. He has not been as likely to escape from the pocket on a designed drop-back pass this year as he was last year. And I haven't talked to him about that, and I'm not sure he would tell me anyway. but I think that's by design.
Yeah.
I think whether he's done it himself or whether Sean has talked to him about it, he's hung in the pocket and wanted to make plays. But the last drive, when he didn't like what he saw, he took off. And I'm telling you, he's one of the faster quarterbacks in the league. He's a problem when if you're not really judicious in your pass rush lanes. If you run past this guy, or you're not, you run some sort of stun inside and you leave the A and B gap open, this kid can run. He went for 25 yards at a crucial time. So
Bo's a top 5 scrambler in the league.
I agree.
Top 5 scrambler.
I mean,
in the
if
league.
you took athletic ability, I mean, honestly, he's not Lamar. Lamar's a running quarterback that can throw it as well. But just top 5 quarterbacks in terms of the overall athletic ability, Bo Nix is one of them.
I think you got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Bo Nix.
Well, Jaden Daniels now is hurt.
I don't think you have to take Jaden Daniels out of it now because you continue to get hurt scrambling.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that your best ability is your availability.
Herbert's in there.
I would take Bo's
a big dude.
I would say Bo is a better athlete than him.
Yeah, but Herbert can run. I mean, you're talking about a guy 6'6" and 240, and he has shown an inclination this year, unlike previous years, where he's gotten out of the pocket and he can run. So I would say, in no order really, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert. Who's the 5th?
I would say you put Patrick Mahomes right there.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he can run too. He's not quite as athletic as the previous 4 in terms of just overall acceleration.
Yeah.
But he's very crafty and very, very smart.
It's interesting to see, man. Everybody wants to talk about Bo, and we should run him more. I think you
got to be careful.
Got to be careful with it. And Sean talked about that. And then Brady talked about the development of quarterbacks and what he was able to learn in his first few years, 3 to 4 to 5 years of his career. And he talked about the development that he got just being with Bill Belichick, learning how to play the quarterback position. I believe that Sean right now is really coaching Bo to play quarterback, to look down the field, to go through the progressions, because that is actually going to keep him in the league longer. That is going to help him be a franchise quarterback, and that is going to help his overall development of his game. Tell me why I'm right or tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I don't disagree with you based on what I've seen from Bo this year. I think that because he had such a good rookie season, I think that and they've played well and they've won games, a lot of games this year, that the expectation level is pretty high, for Bo Nix. I think you still have to understand, like, this is a second-year quarterback. You're seeing a lot of things. I mean, in his 3rd year, into his 4th year, things are really, really going to slow down. Not that they can't have a great year this year. They're having a great year. But I think he's going to be that much better in years 3 and 4 simply because of how much he's playing and how much he's seeing and how much he's experiencing. The key is they're finding ways to win games in which they have inconsistent offensive play, right? I mean, they've had 3 games this year that they've had less than 275 yards of total offense at the end of the game. They're 2-1 of those games. I mean, most NFL games, if you have less than 275 yards of total offense, you're not winning. And this team is finding a way to win games like that. So the other interesting point, at least from my perspective, is hearing Sean after the game, this past game against Houston. Somebody in the post-game press conference asked Sean Payton about Bo Nix and wanted to know whether or not, and Sean sort of cut him off and said, "No, you got to be," and I'm paraphrasing here, but you've got to be careful dealing with the player. You've got to be careful. So that's Sean's way, I think, in a real true moment of saying, I don't want to coach what makes this kid great out of him to make him more sort of robotic in terms of his drop back passing, stay in the pocket, make the reads. Drew Brees, in his brilliance, was a little bit robotic. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and I say that with all due respect. Drew is one of the great quarterbacks we've had in our league. But I think Sean realizes and recognizes that Bo's got a little bit of that backyard stuff. I think it drives Sean a little crazy at times, but he also doesn't want to coach it out of him. So he's going to be careful how he deals with that quarterback.
At Bet365, they have great offers available for Broncos fans. They have their Thursday night football offer, which is a $10 safety net bet. They have their Sunday night football offer, which is a $365,000 jackpot. Place a $10 bet on the first time touchdown score and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Also, With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Breaking news, Bet365 new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Disclaimer, you must be 21 years or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Shout out to the Gold Crown Foundation. Are you a parent of a 4th through 8th grade kid, or are you someone listening who wants to play in a great competitive basketball league here in Colorado? Sign up for the Gold Crown Basketball League today. The Gold Crown Foundation was started by Bill Hanslick many years ago, and it still continues to be a staple of our community. They have divisions for our 4th through 8th grade teams. They have feeder teams for high school and gold, silver, and bronze divisions. You can play in both high school gyms and at the Gold Crown Fieldhouse. Gold Crown also has leagues in volleyball, golf, flag football. It's a nonprofit organization that serves 18,000 plus kids annually in the Denver metro area. It is also a great way for kids to have fun playing sports while also playing in a competitive environment that is going to help them if they want to keep playing sports in high school and potentially beyond. Learn more and sign up by scanning the QR code on the screen or visiting goldcrownfoundation.com. All right, we're back. I got a couple plays to look at and wanted to show you these plays. So a lot of blame on social media, and people aren't necessarily taking a look at the all-22. So this first play right here is 1st and 10, and I think we got a little Ohio concept down at the bottom of the screen. Troy Franklin right here. Does it look like he's running full speed? You got a cover 2 safety and Stingley. Doesn't look like he thought he was a viable option. So things like that, I think, are where people need to. Bo's going to get the overthrow right there.
What I would say is, number one, there hasn't been a receiver that's ever played, maybe except you, that ran his ass off on every single snap. But I go back and look at that play. I would say with that look, where would he go with the ball? He's got to come back. He's got to come back. And here we go. I mean, seriously, we're going to get into deep water here. Now we're going to tell him to come back to the strong side on what I call the Bo concept and look here. Now, I don't know if his pre-snap read, they're playing shell coverage, right, with and man underneath. So I'm not sure. You could make the case that Franklin didn't know he was getting the ball. Yeah. And I think that would be accurate.
And these are and I don't want to blame Troy for this, but this is a first lay. This is in the first quarter. It's 5:24 left in the first quarter. So I just want everybody to know that when you have a great offense, and you pointed this out earlier, when you have a great offense, everybody has a play and has a hand in it. When the offense isn't doing well, there's also a hand. Everybody also has a hand in that as well. So that's just one play that I saw that, maybe Troy could run, a little bit faster or think that he's actually the viable option on this play. This is the interception play. So you got Troy coming in motion right here. 9 times out of 10, I feel like you're going to go to that hitch right there. And I talked about this when the show that we did earlier with the inside scoop. And then, we had this Florida concept that Payton used to run, and he used to just hit the flat every time. Yep. We had a post, the flat, an over route, and a backside dig. And then if Payton had that, he would just hit the flat and then live to fight another day. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know how Bo's getting coached, but why don't you just take the hitch right there?
So let this play out. So they're running an inside fade.
Yep.
The issue would be, how do you hold the free safety in the middle of the field? And then you've got to know when he's now on the hash, right? So this is fine, except you've got to anticipate and drive the ball a little bit more. The guy that you're throwing against is not the cover on court. It's the free safety in the middle of the field who's looking at your eyes, and as soon as you lock in on Cortland there, he's going to be coming as he is right there. Honestly, I think it's a hell of a play by the free safety of the Texans.
Yeah, and you want to miss this ball. If you do miss, you want to miss outside. Miss
over
outside.
His left shoulder.
100%.
But I think if you miss on the outside and you drive it a little bit more, that has the potential to be a big, big play. It's one of the things that I think, Bronco fans could focus on in this last game against Houston. I thought Sean had one of his best games in creating opportunities for big plays. There were 3 or 4 times that guys are, by NFL standards, wide open. That just doesn't happen again, and that's a really good defense. So I thought Sean was on top of his game in terms of how he created opportunities in this game.
We talked about it in last week's show that Vance is going to have a big role with Pat Surtain being out, and then Sean was going to have to do his best because of how great this defense was. And you bring up a great point, and that's what we're now looking at. We're looking at what they would call the overthrow on Evan Ingram, but I actually think Evan should actually put his head down and run. I think he looks back too fast here. As we're pulling up this play, you tell me what you think here. Evan's got the out and up right here.
Yeah, I remember. Again, it's really well done. Single safety high, 4 under.
I thought the ball was in a great location, but I think, as a receiver, you're taught to, after you do the first double move, you're taught to dig out of the route. And when I mean dig out of the route, you're supposed to run out of that route. I think he looks back immediately. Right when the defender falls, he looks back immediately. And, Bo's throwing it to a spot.
Yeah, I'm going to err on Ingram's side there. I think that when he makes the out and up move, as soon as you make that move, to me, you got to get your head around to see where the ball is. I think, and I said on the broadcast yesterday, I think that's a throw. That may be the single biggest throw that Bo would like to have back from the Houston game.
Mm. Well, the next play.
Let's see if we can find one we agree on, for crying out loud.
Well, the next play, number one, I think Cortland Sutton has taken the next step in terms of complete receiver, top-tier receiver. And I say that because they went after Derek Stingley Jr., who is –
which I like.
I love it too. And he's second-best corner in the league.
To me, that's Sean.
Yeah.
That's Sean sitting in the film room saying, oh, no, listen, we'll see you a lot on Sunday.
And then Cortland to make this move, inside release, but didn't get back to his landmark.
Perfect release.
Bo throws this ball in the same spot that what Evan Ingram was supposed to catch the ball.
Yeah.
But I think Cortland is digging out of this.
The key thing for Court is at the 21-yard line, run that back, watch him stack Stingley.
Yes.
When I say stack, he gets an inside release, then he's right back outside on top of, as we say, that defensive back, which puts Stingley, who, as Benny said, is one of the great corners in the league, it puts him in a complete trail position. And it's such a great route by Cortland, and I thought an excellent throw from Bo.
Excellent throw. So I think, just looking at those plays, Bo obviously has the ability. Top tier. He's obviously got top tier ability, and he can make all of the throws. Some of the overthrows are on him. Some of them, I believe, are on the receiver.
Yep.
And I think it's just, it's going to continue to get better.
And we're seeing R.J. Harvey kind of emerge now in this offense too, right?
What did you think about that call?
Oh, I thought it was an excellent call. When you can get Harvey in what I thought was an option route, lined up in a linebacker, and he's got, in other words, the option route, he can break in, he can break out, he can hook up, or he can give you the pause and go right by you based on the coverage.
And I thought Bo's feet and timing and delivery was right there.
If you look at this, the key thing, look at the safety and the move inside, and it's just a step inside right there. That takes him out of any help on R.J. Harvey.
So I gotta push back on you now because you sided with Evan.
Yep.
So RJ gives his little move right there, and we're going to slow it down. He has not looked back yet.
Right.
He takes a couple more steps and then looks back. That's what I wanted from Evan.
Man, tell you what, you'd be hard. You'd be a hard ass as a coach.
Of course. I'd be like
you'd be one of them dudes.
The Dave Logan of
No,
coaches.
I get your point. And I mean, a teaching tape, you will tell receivers, look, when you make your break, make sure, as you said, you're coming out of that break. What separates, you don't have to be the fastest guy in the league, but how you get into and out of your breaks determines so much in terms of your ability to play in the league. There's a lot of guys, there are a lot of fast guys, a lot of guys catch the ball, but they're not good into and out of. So, point well taken.
Where do we go with special teams? How do we, because when we think about championship teams, there's always a big play that is made in special teams in January and especially in February.
Yeah.
And you think about field position. They knew Autry was a field goal blocking machine. I've never heard of anybody blocking 14
They talked
kicks.
about it all week.
And for him to block a kick, that's a real concern. But a lot of people are going to blame Rizzy for that. But we know you get your tips at the end of the week on Fridays and Saturdays as a player. We can only do so much. The coach can't go out there and say, hey, you're going to line up here and this is what you got. The coach gives you your tips.
Yeah.
I'm siding with Rizzy here.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Rizzy has earned a reputation in the league. And I know Sean brought him from New Orleans, and people say, well, that's Sean's guy. But he's earned the reputation of being one of the elite special teams coaches in the league. So I'm with you on that, but here's what I would say in general terms. They got to figure this out.
Yeah,
now. They've got to figure out how not to cost this team a game. I mean, ideally in special teams, you're trying to add to the ability of your team to win. But I think with what we've seen, I mean, they've got to figure out how not to cost this Broncos team a win down the stretch of the rest of the regular season and or the playoffs. And that, whether that's the coaches sitting in and looking schematically at something different or whether they're talking about personnel changes. I mean, you can't give up, even though I thought there was a clip, and I said so on the broadcast, on the punt return, you give up a 45-yard punt return.
Yeah.
Right? It flips field position. And even if your defense finds a way to get them a stop, then the team punts it, and you're looking at 80 or 90 yards from a Broncos offensive perspective. Those little things like that will determine, especially late in the season or playoffs, two evenly matched teams, it will determine that one of those teams is not going to make it.
Sean said in the press conference, this is a little scary as a player on special teams, and then as if you are Darren Rizzy, hey, this is going to get corrected, or we're going to find somebody who will.
Yeah, I
didn't know who he was talking to.
Well, I just knew he wasn't talking to me and you. So I got on the plane feeling pretty good because I know that I didn't screw up the special teams, but I'm thinking what he said, or we'll find somebody else that will. I'm like, uh-oh.
And he left it vague.
Oh, yeah.
He left it really vague. Yeah. So everybody's on pins and needles.
Yeah.
You better believe.
Nobody enjoyed their meal flying home from Houston, up in first class at least.
Hey, Darren Rizzy is going to be coaching those boys hard the rest of the season.
I mean, if you talk to anybody in NFL circles that really understands the game and has connections, Darren Rizzy is one of the top special teams guy. I mean, his name comes up all the time and has for years.
Yeah. Well, I play for him in New Orleans, and we had the best punt unit in NFL history. I think we allowed 47 return yards the entire season.
Wow.
Entire season. Huh. And he's good for blocking kicks, so that's got to get cleaned up. We got a little Broncos mailbag.
Let's do it.
Why do you think Bo seems to be refusing to run early in games? Is this Sean Payton, Deion Hicks?
I think that is an excellent question, Deion. I honestly, I could make up an answer. I don't know for sure, but I think it's apparent, at least to me, looking at games, that there are times. I'll stop. What you don't want to do is run too much, right? Because then you don't allow the patterns to sort of progress. You don't allow guys to get downfield, and you're going to get broken in this league. So, I mean, he ran a lot last year, and he's not been that guy this year. But he's still got the capability. So I would guess this is a byproduct of off-season work where you look at everything. with a critical eye, and you say last year, hey, on this one and this one and this one, maybe you sit in the pocket just a little bit longer. Look at X down here in the deep corner, okay? And that's how guys learn, but that's also how guys get in their head, like, hey, I've got to be better in this, and this. And maybe it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think selective running, I think Sean is going to – I think he's coaching him to play quarterback and play quarterback from the pocket. And I believe when it gets into late December and January, I don't think they're going to be coaching him to, hey, Bo, you do what's best to win this game right now.
Well, you heard Sean say, hey, you got to be careful. We're not tinkering too much with that guy. So that, to me, is what that meant.
100%. How well does Jahdae Barron play from another player's perspective? That's what Nicholas wants to know. We don't hear his name enough. He's rarely in man coverage, plays fewer snaps, or is he not being thrown at? I mean, I don't want to necessarily hear Jahdae Barron's name a lot on the broadcast. That means he's doing his job. He's not getting targeted a lot. I think you want to see him out there more, and I think you will continue to see him out there more now that Pat is out. But if he's not getting targeted, that means he's in the right coverage. He's not blowing a lot of coverages. He had the pick last week. So you don't necessarily want to hear a DB's name, or, they're not picking on him.
He played a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
He came in, Chris Abrams-Drain started at corner, but Jahdae came into the game, and he played outside quite a bit. So I think what makes him such a good young prospect is his ability. He can play nickel. He can play inside. He's a good enough tackler.
Yep.
The corners that play inside on nickel have to be able to hold up in the run game. And it's a different skill set, I think. But he has both. And so, I think I'm not sure, sort of, as they move forward, are you going to see him out there in the corner more instead of Abrams-Drain? I don't know. But he's got that kind of skill.
We'll see. We'll see as time goes on, but I know that Sean's rookies as of late are coming on strong. So I got this.
No doubt.
This looks like a fun question. Did you have any unique things that went into your game day routine as a player? Michael Lewis asked this question.
Gosh. Any unique things that went into my game day? I always had the chiropractor work on me, because I figured by the end of the game I would need the chiropractor to work on me again. So I wanted to be at least momentarily aligned correctly. So no, my pregame thing, they had a chiropractor in the locker room, and I would always go to him and just get adjusted. Are you a chiropractor guy?
Huge chiropractor guy.
Me too.
Yeah, I saw a chiropractor on Fridays.
I got a world-class one. Your chiropractor good?
Man, I haven't really seen a chiropractor the last couple of years, though. So you got a good one.
Oh, yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later you're going to age a little bit and you're going to need one.
You think so?
Yes, sir. I promise you that. I don't know much, but I know that.
Game day routine, I saw the chiropractor. I did muscle activation therapy. Always got an IV. That's more so because I partied a little bit on Fridays.
You did? Okay.
So needed to make sure that was
club guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Friday nights?
Friday nights was the night.
Okay.
Friday nights for sure. And then
for sure.
I mean, when you think about it, they're just
I already know.
So
I already know.
At the Broncos alumni reunion thing, Nathan Palmer came up to me and he said, "Man, he was on the team the year before." And I guess I had said something to our receiver coach my rookie year, and I don't remember saying this at all, but I told him, in order to win a championship, we have to go out on Fridays as a team, and we have to party together. If we don't party together, we can't win. So that's why I went to the club on Fridays. That was a routine.
And Nathan remembered that.
Yeah. He was like, man, that's why you guys won.
You know what?
At Michigan State, same thing.
It worked.
100%.
Right? Super Bowl
100%.
champions.
All right. We are moving on to the Raiders. Short week. This is big for recovery. Thursday night game. I think this is one of those Sean Payton trap games. You put the mouse cheese out there. The Raiders are not good. They're 2-6. They're now at that position or point in the season where I've been on some of these teams where you're thinking about your vacation in January. You've already got maybe a car shipped home or wherever you're going for your offseason plan. So the Raiders are playing like that. But also, the Raiders will coach and now try to piss everybody off, or, piss on everybody in the division in terms of let's go steal a win here. We're not going to the playoffs, but let's empty the trick bag, or let's do a fake punt, whatever we have to do to steal a possession or try to win this game. What are your thoughts on the Raiders?
Yeah, I agree. I think it could be a trap game.
Kansas City come the following week as well.
And Kansas City has a bye this week.
Yep.
So to me, you want to take every single game individually, but I would break that rule in this case, and I would lump these two games as I presented to the team together. Mm-hmm. And I would say, we want to get to a week from this Sunday when the Chiefs come to town. They have 2 weeks off. They have a bye week coming up, so they'll have 2 weeks to prepare for us. If we want to get to them and make this as big a game as I know you guys want to make it, we got to make sure we take care of the Raiders.
Yep.
Because if we let the Raiders come in here and find a way to win this game, that game following is not as big, and there's much, much, much more pressure, and we already know there's pressure, right?
Yep.
We cannot afford to go out and lay an egg against the Raiders. But I agree. I think it could be a bit of a trap game. I think this team, honestly, has so much sort of, how would I say, like youthful exuberance. And I've used this phrase before. Sometimes young dudes in the league, they don't know that they don't know.
Yeah.
So
I knew nothing about the division. I didn't care anything about the division at my first 2 years in the league. I was like, it's not important to me. And then we were already really good.
Yeah. So they're just going to show up and say, hey, another game. Let's go play. And part of that is, I think, a good mentality to have, because you don't tend to tighten up and stress out about stuff. But I think the Broncos will beat the Raiders, and then I think it's we'll talk about the Chiefs coming up here. But I've already thought about this. The Chiefs are going to come into Denver 5-4.
Yep.
If the Broncos beat the Raiders, the Broncos are going to be 8-2. You have a chance, if you beat the Chiefs, to have a 3-game lead in the loss column against Kansas City, moving on to the last part of the regular season. Man, it's right there in front of you. You just got to take advantage of it.
How do you stop Brock Bowers? He had 13 catches last week and 3 touchdowns.
Man, you get PS2 to heal up with that pec, because that's the guy. He's got size and obviously athletic ability that is going to be a good matchup. But no, I think you have to understand that Brock Bowers is such a unique tight end. To me, you treat him like a wide receiver. Brock Bowers played his high school football in California. Mm-hmm. He was a state 100-meter champion.
What?
State 100-meter champion in high school in California. Now, I don't know what classification.
Doesn't matter.
I know California's got a lot of fast people. So this is an uncommon athletic dude playing tight end. And especially down 2 and 6, I mean, that's the guy,
yep.
that Geno Smith or whomever is playing quarterback, that's the guy they're going to try to get the ball to.
Yeah, Geno's a veteran quarterback. He knows he's going to have to get the ball out early. I think the Broncos will have plenty of opportunities to turn over and intercept him, and you want to see that. That's something that you want to see. Thursday night games they're different than a Sunday game just because of the short turnaround, and they have a life of its own. So
there'll be plenty of energy in that stadium on Thursday night.
It is going, and the throwback unis.
Yep.
So it's going to be exciting. I got the Broncos winning, and I think Sean is going to be he's going to say exactly what you said. If we want to go where we want to go to, everything is in front of us.
That's right.
But we still have to take care of this week.
It's a must-win.
Do not look past this. This is the NFL. You saw Carolina go and beat Green Bay at Green Bay.
He'll have all those games.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, every one of those games he will bring up to the team when they meet on Tuesday.
So much parity in the league right now. Do you see anybody that is, and this is just off topic, but do you see anybody that is just like head and shoulders above the Broncos and where they are?
No. And I think it's one of the exciting things about this team, right? You see from a lot of teams, or 2 handfuls of teams at least out of 32, you see stretches of great play. Yeah. Like you'll see games where you'll watch whomever, Green Bay, and say, whew, they're going to be tough to beat in the NFC, and then they lose to Carolina yesterday. You see Detroit with such a great offensive scheme and players, and then they lose at home to Minnesota. So, no, I mean, this year more so than many, many years in the past, there just seems to be opportunity for somebody to get hot at the right time and go like seize the moment. And to me, the Broncos are going to have every chance to be that hot team.
That's another episode of Broncos X's and O's. You know, Dave, congratulations, man. 600 games,
Appreciate it,
about
buddy.
to be 601, and hopefully it's a dub. Really appreciate you joining us.
Good seeing you, Benny.
We all silly like the mayor.